Hey everyone, and welcome back to Murmur-Mag. Today we chat to a legitimate triple threat: QS campaigner, Olympic hopeful, and a big wave charger. Mahina Maeda talks to us about her new big wave project, as well as what's coming up next. You've just released a film, but before we get into that, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what you're up to at the moment?
My name is Mahina Maeda. I'm from the North Shore of Oahu, and I'm 23 years old, and I represent Japan as a country. So right now I'm back home where I grew up at, which is the North Shore of Oahu, and I also am training right now until I have to leave to ISAs, which will be May 23rd.
Leading into the ISAs, are you going to go to El Salvador to compete in the Olympic trials there?
So I'll be in El Salvador, so hopefully I can get a result there to qualify for the Olympics. I think at the moment we have to be top 7, I believe. I could be totally wrong, but I think there's more opportunities past top 7 too because of the double qualifiers and as well as the top 2 per country. Yeah. So there, I still have a shot, and I do believe that I can probably get the opportunity to qualify.
And as you said, so you'll be representing Japan in the Olympics if you can get to that spot.
Yes, correct.
Amazing. So you're representing Japan and you've been competing for a while. You're going over to El Salvador to compete in the ISAs, but you've also recently released a film, which is all about you getting into big wave surfing. So can you tell me a little bit about it and what prompted you to release the clip?
So this video that I created is called Wahine O Ke Kai, which means the women of the sea in Hawaiian. So originally where I got that name is actually from my shaper, Chuck Andrews, and we call him Uncle Chuck. So in the Hawaiian culture, or like the way that we grew up in Hawaii, like we call everyone elderly as uncles and aunties. So even if we're not related by blood. So Uncle Chuck, in the stringer part of the board, where you usually write your dimensions and stuff, he wrote tiny words writing the Wahine O Ke Kai, and he's actually Hawaiian, and we have such a special connection ever since I met him. And the reason why I started doing this whole big wave stuff, I was really inspired by all the other girls like Emmy Erickson, Laura Ennever, and all these girls like charging. Back when I won my World Juniors for the first time when I was at the age of 16, I rode a wave at Nazare. I think at the moment I was the second woman to ever surf Nazare. And it was, I can't really compare myself to like Justine Dupont or Maya Gabriella and stuff, but my uncle, Garrett McNamara, my dad used to be tow partners with him, and he was like, why don't you just try? So I decided to go out, and it kind of opened the doors for me to, explore in bigger waves and just do something different other than competing. And I guess too, like for us, like, we're competing and we have to compete in smaller waves, and preparing yourself for bigger waves, it's a little hard because you have to take a lot of time to really prepare yourself, because it's not like going out for a regular session. You really have to focus on the depth factor, the amount of preparation, the knowledge of the waves and the water and all the movement and stuff, and even jet ski assist and everything and stuff too.
I think the most important thing in big wave surfing is to be committed. You need to know that you're going out there to catch a wave and to be 100% committed when you do so, because hesitation puts you in a way worse spot.
You mentioned about the death factor. How does that kind of play with your head, and how do you roll with that?
I mean, I think any sport, you kind of have to think about some of the negatives just to be aware of it. Even if it's, whether it's small waves or big waves, or you're just even just playing in the ocean, you're dealing with Mother Nature, and you yourself cannot control the ocean. So you have to really be knowledgeable about like certain things, and especially if I'm going out there and going on huge waves and stuff, then I really have to be aware with what I am doing. And mental is one of the biggest things about anything in your life, and even also in your surfing and stuff too, because once you start procrastinating and once you start getting really freaked out and you're just kind of, you're not thinking straight, then you can really put yourself in a really bad situation. And so that really relates to also regular surfing too, because what if you, I don't know, maybe get stuck on the rocks too, so like you can easily hurt yourself, and you can maybe hit your head. You just have to be very knowledgeable. And that was the one thing that I became more aware of, I guess, doing big waves.
What kind of physical training did you have to kind of get into? Because obviously you're going to have strong legs to withstand those huge walls coming towards you. So what did you have to do to prepare yourself for that?
So I'm not a very, very small person. I am very short in height, but I am kind of like a beefier, structured person. So for my coach or my trainer, and he's kind of like a mentor to me, his name is Kid Pellegro. He's a 5th degree black belt jiu-jitsu, and he also teaches Gymnastica Natural, which is a mixture of yoga and jiu-jitsu, and we kind of incorporate a lot of the surfing movements. So he thought, for me, I am already pretty muscular, then I don't really need to do a lot of weight training. We did a lot of mental training, and as well as I started doing jiu-jitsu, which I've been wanting to do for a while. It's just that it's really hard to do because you have to be very careful, and as well as I did some water breathing, which I never usually do, and which turned out to be really, really fun. And then I did some gymnastica, which is basically the license that I have too, as I can teach that type of training, which is the yoga, jiu-jitsu, and surfing mixed together. So those are the 4 trainings that we did throughout the whole project.
What kind of swells did you have leading into it? And I guess, you know, your biggest wave surfed, how did it feel for you?
I think this year, all the swells were pretty nuts and pretty big, and all I kept telling my mentors, like, can you just get me a Mahina size wave? Like a 30 to 40 feet wave. I think my biggest one was that final day where I caught my second wave, or my first wave. I'm terrible at like giving out measurements. I could probably be totally wrong. It could be either 30 to 40 feet. So something around like that.
So, sizey.
Yeah, sizey.
What more have you got on the cards for your big wave surfing?
Hopefully, my goal is to still go to Peahi, which is Jaws, and hopefully with COVID kind of clears everything out and it'll be a little bit better and easier for me to travel, then and I just get a good window, like nothing scary, nothing deathly. I still want to keep my body intact, and I still don't want to die out there after a big day like that too. So I really want to still go out to Peahi. I don't know about me going out to Nazare again, because that place is kind of crazy.
So a few years ago, you were very close to qualifying, say, about 1 heat. Is that still a goal for you to get onto the championship tour, or has your kind of goals changed a little bit?
My goals have been the same from the beginning. I think this is just more of like a side goal of me to do all the big waves and stuff. And yeah, I've been pretty close to qualifying for the past 3 years. I think my first year back in 2014 or 2015, I can't really remember. That was the year that I won China. I was 11th, and I was, you know, the reason why I started surfing is to become a world champion, be on the world tour, and be the best surfer in the world. And to be the best surfer in the world, you know, you have to conquer a lot of things. You have to be good at big waves. You have to be good at small waves and stuff. And one of the things that I did was big waves, and that's kind of the check off the list. So my goal is still the same, and be the best surfer. So hopefully I'll qualify next year. And actually, hopefully the tour kind of resumes as well.
Yeah, hopefully it does. And maybe with the Olympics coming up, are you hoping to be a gold medalist as well?
Of course, I really want to be a part of the Olympics. You know, I think my mentality or my image for sports is the first thing that comes up is Olympics, and I really, really want to be a part of it, and I really want to represent both Japan and Hawaii at the same time. And, you know, I came from kind of like a dual image and stuff, and I really want to show a lot of the people, like, you know, like, you don't have to separate me within just Hawaii or just Japan. I can be both at the same time too. So hopefully I'll qualify next month, and then we'll see if I will be waving the flag.
Where can we watch your video as well?
So my video is actually posted on my IGTV and as well as my YouTube link. I think a couple of the sites you can find on Stab and Magic Seaweed and stuff as well.
Well, thank you so much for having a chat, Mahina. It was really cool to dive into your training and preparation and talking about your new film and the Olympics and your goals and stuff. So I really appreciate you coming and having a chat.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe.